The next morning, I waited until Daniel had gone out for one of his lectures, and since it was a Friday, Josh and I had the morning off. I decided now would be a good time to show Josh the image. I asked him if he wanted to see what Daniel had been hiding from us. He confusedly, but also eagerly, said yes. I brought my laptop into the living room and loaded up my USB and opened the image for both of us to see. Josh's expression fell into a shock before he spluttered. What, what the fuck is that thing? I could tell just by his reaction that both of us were thinking the same thing. This couldn't have been an art project image. There is no way that this would pass as a fine art piece, would it? I mean, sure, art can be creepy at times, but I can't imagine his teachers would appreciate such a creepy and disgusting image. I know that Daniel can be a creepy son of a bitch, but that isn't right. We've got to show Lily that we both cut off one another. We paused briefly before looking at one another with confusion. Where was Lily? I realized that she hadn't come back with Daniel last night, and neither of us had seen her that morning. When I explained to Josh what I did last night, he began to worry. Lily was never the kind to just sneak off and not tell anyone. I picked up my phone and began to ring her mobile. For a while, there was silence. Then, just from Lily's room, we heard a faint buzzing sound. Josh got up and walked into Lily's room rather quickly. He'd never been one to go into girls' rooms, and came back holding Lily's phone in his hand with a worried look on his face. Lily was gone, and we had no way of getting a hold to her. Maybe she has just gone to a lecture and forgot her phone, I stuttered. Josh shook his head, chewing on his lip out of nerves. No, Lily doesn't have lectures on a Friday, remember? She'd normally at least say hello to us and take her phone. We know she lives on that thing. She never stops texting her girlfriend. He was right. Lily's life revolved around her phone, so we knew there would be no way she'd leave it. Suddenly, her phone lit up. Someone was calling her. We both looked at the phone and then back at one another before Josh passed the phone to me. I brought it up to my ear before speaking. Hello? On the other end of the line, I realized it was her girlfriend that was calling. I recognized her husky voice. Ah, Lily, there you are. Thank God you're okay. You didn't text me all last night or this morning. I thought something was wrong. I cringed a little bit, realizing I had to break it to her that I wasn't Lily. As I spoke, I heard her girlfriend begin to get upset. She was breathing quite heavily, and I could hear her sniffling sound someone makes when they cry. I felt so bad for her, but perhaps she could be my chance to find out anything I could about Lily. Where is Lily? She hasn't spoken to me since last night. I thought she was just playing a joke on me, but now I don't know. I looked at Josh with a confused stare as he began to pace around a little bit. I put the phone on loudspeaker and asked her, "Why do you think Lily was playing a joke on you? Did she say anything odd?" "Yes," her girlfriend replied. "She went me on one message at around 1:30 a.m. I looked at Josh baffled before I asked again, "What did the message say? Help me." I looked at Josh with a wide, worried eyes. Lily would never pull a prank like that on anyone, let alone on her own girlfriend. She always told us how she worried she'd be about her girlfriend getting paranoid. So we knew she wouldn't send a message like that unless she had a reason. I continued to speak with her girlfriend, but I was getting nowhere. So I reassured her that we know where Lily was, and she'd be calling her back tonight. Her girlfriend seemed suspicious, but just agreed and put the phone down. Myself and Josh paced back and forth. We had no idea what this could mean. Why would Lily send a message like that? We continued to think for a while and decided until we knew where Lily was, we were going to skip our lectures. We spent a long time thinking over things and began to write down the connections we could make. Afterwards, Josh read out the list to me so I could think them over. First, Lily goes into Daniel's room at around 10 p.m. She is locked in his room. Then we return home at 2 o'clock. During that time, around 1:30 a.m., we find out that Lily texts her girlfriend a message saying, "Help me." You discover that neither Lily or Daniel are home yet. Daniel's door is unlocked and his laptop is left on. You find an image and then leave. You then return to your room and heard Daniel come home, but not Lily. Lily is still not back home yet, but Daniel is. What the hell could this mean? I thought it over for a while, and then came to a conclusion. I don't want to make this connection, but it is the only connection I could salvage. Daniel did something to Lily. We have to confront Daniel tonight if Lily doesn't come home between now and tonight, okay? Josh looked shocked, but he agreed. Daniel would be our only chance at finding out what happened to Lily. Later that night, there were still no signs of Lily. We knew that her girlfriend would be calling soon, so we decided to turn the phone off. We didn't want to try and reassure her with false information. We waited until around 6 p.m. before Daniel finally came home. He looked rather startled to see us both standing there in the living room, and he lightly placed his art folder and satchel down against the sofa. We both stood up. Josh spoke to him, and I could tell he was trying to keep his composure. "Daniel, we'd like to have a talk. It's about Lily." Daniel's eyes seemed to widen ever so slightly, but nothing I thought was worth thinking over. He tilted his head at us, looking confused as he asked us, "Why? Is something wrong?" I shaken my head. I didn't want him to think we were accusing him of anything. We would never get any answers out of him if we straight up accused him like that. Daniel seemed to look a little on edge, looking away from us as he itched his wrist under his baggy gray jumper. He pushed his rather dark black edge, looking away, bangs out of his face as he spoke. "Then what's wrong? Is she okay? I mean, I know she left her phone here last night, so I suppose there wouldn't be any way to get a hold of her. We didn't say anything. We weren't too sure on what to say to him. How were we supposed to ask him if he did anything to Lily without him taking offense?" I didn't realize something. It had taken me a moment to realize it before I spoke. "You just said she left her phone here last night, right? How the hell did you know that?" I could see Josh's eyes light up. He just realized the same thing I did. How on earth did Daniel know she left her phone behind unless they went somewhere? We already acknowledged the fact that Lily never leaves her phone anywhere, so how on earth did know that she had left it behind? Daniel didn't answer us. He was silent for a while before he pushed past us and walked into his room, slamming the door shut. We walked over to his door, banging on it harshly before he shouted, "Leave me alone. I have coursework to do. I'm sure Lily will show up tonight. Just stop being so paranoid." We didn't know what to do. Daniel clearly knew way more than he let on, but there was no way we were going to get that out of him. We walked back into the living room and slumped back down. I ran a hand through my hair. What the hell was going on? I didn't realize that Daniel had left his bags on the sofa. He must have been too flustered to pick them up when he stormed into his room. I peered around to Daniel's door, hearing no sound of him leaving his room yet. I knew soon enough he would be coming out to get his bags. In a moment of madness, I picked up the satchel and emptied its contents onto the coffee table. I could see Josh's eyes widen before he whispered to me frantically, What, what the hell are you doing? What if he sees you? I didn't care. I needed to know anything I could about Lily. She was a roommate, but also a best friend. I couldn't just leave this to solve itself. I pushed through documents and came across what looked like a ticket. I crumpled it up and pushed it in my pocket. Then I found the zip up document bag. I pushed it into Josh's hands and told him to go hide it. He complied and went and hid it in his room. I then quickly put all the other stuff back into Daniel's bag and rested it up right like it looked before. I then got up and walked into Josh's room. I watched Daniel go back into the living room and pick up his bags before he walked back into his room again. Josh grabbed the zip-up file from under his pillow as we both sat down onto his bed. We didn't say anything. We just read the front cover of the file. Teeth.